Hey gang, Jake here. Today we're going to cover maybe the most important topic I've ever discussed in my life. Top 5 Fraymakers YouTubers who've sworn. If you enjoyed this video, please go scream at a wall for several hours hello?
Hi.
Can I ask why you're here now? This is usually just a void that I scream into.
Well, I'm just here to notify you of your performance as a human. The higher-ups just wanted to say if you attempt to eat yet another Shovel Knight amiibo, we're going to have to enact divine judgment upon you. That's all. Carry on.
Well, that's not nearly enough context. Aren't you Angel Fire, that angel who's trying to understand humanity through VTubing?
That be me. Aren't you the ninja with a forged PhD?
Oh, don't worry, my black belt is fake too. But if you want to learn about people, why don't you stick around? Thinking about how characters could work in fighting games is practically the most human thing one can do, and it's really all I do here.
I mean, I guess that sounds fun, but I don't see how you benefit from this. What are you plotting?
Well, if you insist on this being a trade, I could use a little leniency on that whole quote-unquote eating Shovel Knight amiibo deal.
Yeah, I can't really do anything about that. If you attempt it again, you're definitely going to be smote.
So we've got a deal. Great! What do you want to talk about?
If you're not going to listen, your soul is definitely going under. But something tells me you're going to continue to ignore.
Oh, going under. That'd be dope. Let's get into it.
Well, I tried.
So when it comes to going under's representation in a video game like Fraymakers, something important to understand is representing not only a single character's playstyle from their home game, but essentially advertising said home game in their moveset. Sakurai's gotten pretty great at this, and you can look at characters like Hero with his spell casting and Bayonetta with their emphasis on combos as an example of this. So in the context of going under, what can you do to represent that game's identity in a fighting game moveset? It's a roguelike action game, sure, but it's first and foremost a satire of the struggles of American labor. Things like unpaid internships, tech startups, the whole 9 yards. So while we want to represent this game's roguelike mechanics, our bigger priority is finding a way to represent those other aspects of the game in a way that's fun to play, and I think we've just about got it.
A big part of Going Under's gameplay is the variety of weapons Jackie can use in combat. From laptops to warhammers, this is one of the most varied arsenals in video games. As such, it's an important part of her gameplay to represent. For each of Jackie's special attacks, she'll have 2 animations. One uses garbage, one uses a competent weapon.
Her neutral special is the exception to this rule, as it's what decides when she gets competent weapons. Her search allows her to find specific items relevant to combat, similar to Phoenix Wright's search in UMVC 3. There's 3 of these scattered around the battlefield. A poker, a chisel hammer, and a jobo sword. You lose these on each death, but they're not hard to find.
For her side special, she'll use a downward stab with a pretty massive range. This move doesn't quite deal as much damage when using the broomstick, but it's pretty effective with Weekending's poker. For her up special, she'll use an upward slash a la Mars Dolphin Slash. Normally, this is with a bone club, which doesn't have quite as much range as when it's done with a chisel hammer from Styx Coin. And for the down special, she'll use a spin attack, which is slow and clunky with a keyboard, but is vastly more efficient when performed with a jobo sword.
Up next is smash attacks. For the side smash, Jackie busts out a smashed bottle, reversing her grip and slamming the thing downwards. For the up smash, Jackie pulls out a pickaxe, swinging it overhead in a full, wide swing. For the down smash, she'll bust out the Skelecaster, sending a shockwave of rock in all directions.
Jackie's neutral air would be her spinning a potted succulent around her for broad but small damage. For Jackie's forward aerial, she could use a downward swing using a chair item. For her downwards aerial, she could take a quicker but less damaging swing horizontal with a bouquet. For her down air, she could point a Giga Drill downwards and just let her weight carry her down. And for her up air, she could swing a yoga ball around her, bouncing opponents further up as they make contact.
Jackie's forward tilt would involve her essentially dropping a miner's rig in front of her, dealing pretty decent damage with relatively low speed. Her down tilt is a low swing with a battle fan, with the ultimate goal of just causing as much pain to the shins as possible. For the up tilt, she'd bust out a stool to take a swing at any opponents nearby, breaking the thing on impact. This move won't be tied to durability though, it's just a neat visual effect.
For the throws, Jackie will pull from her basic throwing animations. For her forward throw, Jackie will hammer throw the opponent and Mario 64 style, similar to her heavy object throwing animation. The back throw will be much the same, just slightly adjusted animation-wise, so it's clearly a separate move. For her down throw, she'll sling the opponent over her back and chuck them at her opponent like a spear. Lastly, for her up throw, she'll use the standard overhead throw used with most other items.
For the jab, Jackie will literally jab at you, using the thumbtack item. For her pummel, she'll use the stapler item, firing off short-range projectiles in rapid succession. For her dash attack, she'll run forward and jab out with the pencil item.
For the super, I think the best pick is a car. Jackie summons a vehicle for herself to drive around committing vehicular manslaughter. But over the course of about 10 to 20 seconds, the car would start to flash. Once this starts, Jackie has a very short period of time to ditch the ride before it violently explodes, damaging everyone around it, including her.
Jackie's taunts are pretty difficult to pin down, but one could be based off her idle animation in which she drops her weapon to play on her phone. Another could feature her summoning Eclair, a dog you can pet in the overworld. And the last one could feature Jackie pulling out a torch and trying to light the ground on fire, in reference to Swamp's first mentor request. For Jackie's victory animation, we could see her show off a business card of the second place player in the match, referencing the Rolodex mechanic. For Jackie's alternate costumes, well, there's plenty to pull from the actual alternate costumes in-game, but since those are significant model changes and I guess could be construed as spoilery, we'll try to avoid them. Recolors referencing Fern, Swamp, Kara, Tappy, Marv, and Ray would be sick, rounding it off with a dark color referencing Imposter Jackie.
The stage is difficult to pick, because pretty much every locale would make it fun. But I think we're going to have to go with the Fizzle corporate office. It's a super colorful environment that's highly effective at showcasing the satire in Going Under, and it's a great opportunity for character cameos, which is important with a cast as big and fun as this group. It functioned like the church segment of Greg Mock from Smash, with walk-offs on either side and occasionally floating platforms.
However, it's also got one other mechanic that sets it apart. See, I talked about how it's important to represent every aspect of a game in a guest character appearance, but as you might be able to guess, making capitalism a fighting mechanic is really damn hard. It's not even fun in real life. How am I going to make it fun in the context of a fighter? So while I don't really know how to make Going Under satire work in a fighting game moveset, I think it could work a lot better in a fighting game stage, as there, every player is dealing with the same drawbacks. And if you don't want to, you can just not choose it. What am I getting at? Well, in Fizzle's corporate office, the front desk has a set of power-ups you can buy with a unique currency. In Going Under, you get this currency from killing enemies, but in Fraymakers, you'll get it from, well, killing enemies.
You'd buy these items by double tapping the up taunt button while standing in front of them, and they last for one stock. You'd get 1 unit of currency for every kill, and every power-up could cost up to 2 to 3 units. But there is another way to buy them. If you buy them without enough currency to do so, you'd get stuck with debt instead. In Going Under, debt is an item you're actually forced to carry if you spend too much money. It slows down your movement, but it can also be thrown at your opponents to damage them. Here, it worked very much the same way. The size of your debt wall depends on how much debt you go into, but you can make it smaller by collecting more currency. It'll slow you down a little bit, but you can grab it and chuck it for significant damage.
In addition, there's a set group of power-ups, but they're all a tad ridiculous. Whether it's reversing knockback, growing your character, or any other bit of stupid crap. These power-ups would be showcased next to the player's UI, so you could keep track of who's got what, but if you stop paying attention, it can get ridiculously hectic.
As for the music, a hard metal cover of The Grind could really be sick. Something that ups the tempo and makes it a little bit more of an intense fighting song. And Honestly, that's about it. That covers as much of Going Under as one feasibly could without losing their mind.
Or maybe not. You'd be amazed. People can do some amazing things with their brains. Have you seen the Henry Stickmin Rivals mod?
I haven't, but I'd better get back to work. Gotta keep updating humans on everything new in the world.
Alrighty then. Thanks for coming. It's been a lot of fun. Now, if you don't mind, I think I'm gonna go grab a snack.
Very well. Go enjoy yourself. Just make sure it's not a... Shovel Knight amiibo. Well, it is what it is. You hate to see it happen. I'm guessing he'll find his way back to the mortal realm of existence in about 2 weeks. It's surprisingly easy. If you all need some entertainment while you wait, you can find me on Twitch, streaming on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. I post any significant updates, including my stream schedule, on my Twitter. Both of these things will be linked in the description. Also, you know, it might be a nice redemption present if you hit the subscribe button and the bell under the video. You know, just in case he ever makes it back. Hopefully I'll see some of you on Twitch. Have a good one.